More and more people are awakening to the possibility of becoming channels for healing and guidance. They sense a potential within themselves, experiencing altered states of consciousness, receiving signs, and feeling that something higher is calling them to embark on the ultimate adventure. But this potential must be manifested. It must be transformed into a true connection with the spirit and healing abilities. And for that to happen, one must undergo the spirit's tests. These tests serve as initiation steps. Each one represents a challenge, an existential trial that a person must pass to continue their purification and transformation. Remember, these tests are internal, but they can manifest in various ways in our external lives. Different traditions have their own methods of going through them, but the important thing is the internal journey, the Nagwal. And this journey is the same in every case. Only when all the tests have been passed does the apprentice fully receive the spirit, along with all its healing and visionary powers. Now, let's explore these tests. The first test, answer the call, curiosity. The journey begins with a call, and let me tell you, everyone gets it. As the indigenous masters of Siberia, who trained my teacher, would say, everyone has the potential to become a shaman. It's just a matter of peeling away the layers of fear, doubt, and suffering. And as A Course in Miracles, a key work in modern spirituality, reminds us, all are called, but few choose to listen. This call can happen anywhere, maybe under a tree in the park during a trip to some incredible place, in a moment of deep connection with a partner, or in a fleeting instance of perfect contemplation in the city. There comes a moment when the Spirit touches our hearts and we feel what perfect unconditional love truly is. Most people enjoy this moment as something accidental, something tied to their surroundings, something external. They don't realize it's a call, that there's something greater inviting them to open their hearts and live in that state of happiness always. This is the Spirit's call, and it's the first test. The apprentice must recognize that this magical moment is connected to them, their life, and their purpose. It's a proposal from the highest place, and they must begin to seek more of that ecstasy, to understand what blocks them from it. When the apprentice starts actively seeking, when curiosity and the desire for something higher take root within them, they've passed the first test. The second test, leave everything and follow the test of determination. Now, the apprentice's gaze is fixed on something higher. They're asking questions, searching for answers. This is the moment to see just how firm their determination truly is. Is there anything the apprentice desires more than the Spirit and the truth? Are there material things, relationships, family attachments, or lower desires that matter more to them? In this stage of initiation, the apprentice must show that following their spiritual path is the most important thing to them. But don't misunderstand. It's not about being free of flaws or earthly attachments. If they were free of those, they'd already be a master. Here, the test is about making a choice when faced with a decision between their old self or their new path in life. For instance, choosing between following social conventions to avoid rejection or being true to yourself and expressing your authentic self. Or choosing between following the path your family expects of you and breaking away to follow your own path. To pass this test, the apprentice must demonstrate that nothing from the old ego-driven life like instant gratification, social validation, or attachments, is more valuable than their new path toward the Spirit. Consider this example. Jesus put this test to those who wanted to be his disciples. He told them, "Leave everything and follow me." Many hesitated, unable to leave their families, jobs, responsibilities, and so they missed the chance to follow the Master. My teacher had a similar experience. He started as an assistant shaman in a center in Greece. One day, the shaman approached him and asked, "Do you want to be a shaman?" He said yes. The shaman then said, "Go home, pack a small bag, and tonight you'll take an early morning flight to the Netherlands for a seminar. I'll send you to more places after that. Say goodbye to your family. You won't see them again. You have 5 minutes to decide." This was his test of determination. Now, this doesn't mean that the apprentice literally has to leave everything and go away. It means they need to show they are capable of doing so. My teacher returned home 2 or 3 years later, and today he shares time with his family without any issue. It was just a test. Some people have great healing potential, but their connection to the social self is strong. Those old loyalties, family, love, material ties, hold them back. The apprentice must remain in this phase until all those old loyalties fade away and they're ready to sacrifice them for their spiritual path. The third test, fight, the test of strength and releasing the wild spirit. This is one of the most challenging tests, especially in the world we live in today. Modern society often teaches us to suppress our wild side, to tame the natural urge to fight, labeling it as something dangerous, primitive, or even wrong. But the truth is, this fighting spirit is a vital part of our inner power. And in this test, it's not about external battles, but about mastering that wild energy within us, directing it to confront and dissolve the inner obstacles that stand in our way. Think about it. Have you ever been told to calm down when you were angry or frustrated? Society often pressures us to bottle up these feelings, but they don't just disappear. Instead, they fester, turning into inner demons that haunt us. These might be feelings of self-doubt, deep-seated fears, or unresolved trauma. This test is about facing those demons head-on. For instance, imagine battling an illness that drains you both physically and emotionally. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to want to give up. But this is where the test comes in. You're pushed to find a hidden reservoir of strength, to fight for your healing, not just with medicine, but with the fierce energy of your spirit. Or consider being trapped in a toxic relationship. It's a situation that demands you confront painful truths, break free from harmful patterns, and reclaim your personal power. But here's the thing. This test isn't about simply winning or overcoming. It's about awakening that wild spirit inside you. It's about the intense drive, the passion, and the unyielding force that you can channel towards your personal growth and healing. Picture it like this. In life, there are moments where everything comes to a head, a crucial decision, a challenge that demands everything you've got. This is where your wild spirit shines, where you put all your energy, focus, and intention into that one decisive moment. Passing this test is about proving to yourself that you have the freedom and strength to unleash this energy when needed. The battles you face in this test can take many forms, whether it's overcoming a physical illness, navigating an emotional crisis, confronting difficult people in your life, or even dealing with the harsh realities of nature. Through these struggles, you learn to harness that energy, to use it not destructively but constructively, and to integrate it into who you are. Only those who manage to release and control their wild spirit without being consumed by it can move forward to the next stage of their spiritual journey. The fourth test: speak with your best friend, the test of humility. Transparency before the Spirit. Humility is not just a virtue, it's a cornerstone of the shamanic path. In this test, the challenge is to open your heart completely, to confess not just to another person, but to the Spirit and to yourself. Now, when we talk about confession here, we're not referring to the religious kind where you list out sins. Instead, this is about a deep, sincere unveiling of your true self, your deepest wounds, fears, mistakes, and vulnerabilities. It's an act of total transparency where you hold nothing back. Imagine this. In everyday life, this test might appear when you're faced with situations where your deepest secrets are at risk of being exposed. Let's say you've been hiding a part of yourself, maybe a mistake from your past, a fear you've never spoken about, or a weakness you've always tried to cover up. Now, imagine that the Spirit sees all of this. The question is, would you be able to stand before the Spirit, bare your soul, and reveal every part of yourself? For example, let's say you've been through a failure that still haunts you. Maybe it's a job you lost, a relationship that fell apart, or a personal goal you never achieved. This test asks you to confront that failure, to admit it openly, and to accept it as part of your journey. Or perhaps you're harboring fears, fear of the unknown, fear of being judged, or fear of not being good enough. The Spirit calls you to bring these fears into the light, to confess them, and in doing so, to release their hold on you. This test isn't easy. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to admit that you don't have all the answers, that you've made mistakes, or that you have fears and insecurities. But this act of confession is powerful. It's through this transparency and honesty that true purification and transformation occur. When you stand before the Spirit with nothing hidden, you open the door to healing. You allow the Spirit to guide you, to help you overcome your past, and to transform your weaknesses into strengths. This test is about learning the importance of humility, vulnerability, and honesty on your spiritual journey. Only those who can fully embrace their imperfections, who can lay everything bare before the Spirit without shame or fear, are ready to advance to the next level. The fifth test, the test of trust, the disintegration, deep purification in the underworld, the shamanic illness. The final test before complete initiation is the test of trust and total surrender. This is where you must demonstrate absolute faith in the Spirit and in the process you are undergoing. The disintegration, as it's often called, is a symbolic experience of death and rebirth. During this stage, you undergo a deep purification, often through what is known as a shamanic illness. This is where your body and soul are stripped of all impurities, leaving nothing but the essence of who you truly are. Imagine this process as a kind of intense spiritual cleansing. You might experience physical symptoms like fever, pain, or fatigue that seem to have no clear medical cause. Or you might go through psychological and emotional turmoil, feeling as though everything you know is falling apart. These symptoms are often cyclical, coming and going, pushing you to your limits. They serve a purpose. They're the Spirit's way of breaking down all that is false within you to reveal the pure, true self underneath. For instance, think about times in your life when everything seemed to be going wrong all at once. Maybe you faced a series of unfortunate events that left you questioning everything: your purpose, your beliefs, even your sense of self. This is similar to the shamanic illness. It's a period where everything familiar is stripped away, and you're left with nothing but the need to trust in the process. The challenge here is to surrender completely to what's happening, to stop resisting, and to let the Spirit do its work. But why is this so difficult? Because the human mind, the ego, is wired to resist change. It wants to hold onto what is familiar, even if that means clinging to old wounds, fears, or identities that no longer serve you. This resistance creates tension, anxiety, and fear. But in this test, you must learn to let go of that resistance, to embrace the unknown with an open heart. For example, think of someone facing a major life transition, like losing a job, ending a long-term relationship, or moving to a new city. The initial reaction is often fear and resistance because it feels like everything is falling apart. But what if, instead of resisting, they surrendered to the experience? What if they trusted that this disintegration was making space for something new, something better? This is the essence of the fifth test. The key to passing this test is to relax and trust that the Spirit will guide you through this transformative experience. It's about having faith that no matter how intense or frightening the process may seem, it's all leading you to a higher state of being. Your ego might try to convince you that something terrible is happening, that you need to be on guard, that you need to control the situation. But deep down, you know that the only way forward is to let go, to release all control, to lie down, and allow the Spirit to take over. Only those who can fully surrender, who can trust in the process without fear, can emerge from this experience renewed and purified. They are then ready to receive the gifts and talents from the higher realms, fully prepared to walk their path as a shaman. Final initiation, receiving gifts and talents in the upper world. The apprentice becomes a shaman and receives a clear earthly path. Once all the tests have been passed, you're taken to the upper world, where you receive the gifts and talents that will enable you to fulfill your purpose on earth. This is the culmination of the initiation process, where you transform from apprentice to shaman. You receive a clear vision of your earthly path, which could be that of the hermit, the white shaman, or the black shaman, each with its own responsibilities and ways of serving the world. The newly initiated shaman receives not only healing and visionary powers, but also the wisdom and knowledge needed to guide and help others on their spiritual journeys. And so the cycle of learning and transformation continues, with the new shaman now ready to bring the light and knowledge of the Spirit to those who seek their guidance. No matter where you are on your journey, take heart, be grateful, and be patient with your process. The timing is different for everyone, but the end is always the same. Thank you for joining this journey with us. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment and give it a like. I'll be here reading what you write. See you on the next journey.